Have you ever wondered why institutions, especially schools, require students to speak in English? Is English as a medium of instruction really helpful or not? The question remains, is it boon or bane?
Before we answer that question, it is essential to first understand the roots of this so-called universal and second language of Filipinos, the English language.
With English making its name as the language of science, the Bible and Shakespeare, Britain decided to take it on tour, asking only for land, wealth, natural resources, total obedience to the crown and a few local words in return. They went to the Caribbean looking for gold and a chance to really unwind, discovering the barbecue, the canoe and a pretty good recipe for rum punch. They also brought back the word cannibal to make their trip sound more exciting. In India there was something for everyone. Yoga to help you stay in shape while pretending to be spiritual. If that didn't work, there was the cummerbund to hide the paunch. And if you couldn't even make it up the stairs without turning crimson, they had the bungalow. Meanwhile, in Africa, they picked up words like voodoo and zombie, kicking off the teen horror film. From Australia, English took the words nugget, boomerang and walkabout, and in fact the whole concept of chain pubs. All in all, between toppling Napoleon and the First World War, the British Empire gobbled up around 10 million square miles, 400 million people and nearly 100,000 gin and tonics, leaving new varieties of English to develop all over the globe. From the moment Brits first landed in America, they needed names for all the new plants and animals, so they borrowed words like raccoon, squash and moose from the Native Americans, as well as most of their territory. Waves of immigrants fed America's hunger for words. The Dutch came sharing coleslaw and cookies, probably as a result of their relaxed attitude to drugs. Later the Germans arrived selling pretzels from delicatessens, and the Italians arrived with their pizza, their pasta and their mafia, just like Mama used to make. America spread a new language of capitalism, getting everyone worried about the break-even and the bottom line, whether they were blue chip or white collar. The commuter needed a whole new system of freeways, subways and parking lots, and quickly, before words like merger and downsizing could be invented. American English drifted back across the pond as Brits got the hang of their cool movies and their groovy jazz. There were even some old forgotten English words that lived on in America, so they carried on using fall, faucets, diapers and candy, while the Brits moved on to autumn, taps, nappies and NHS dental care. In the 1500 years since the Romans left Britain, English has shown a unique ability to absorb, evolve, invade and, if we're honest, steal. After foreign settlers got it started, it grew into a fully fledged language all of its own, before leaving home and travelling the world, first via the high seas, then via the high-speed broadband connection, pilfering words from over 350 languages and establishing itself as a global institution. All this despite a written alphabet that bears no correlation to how it sounds and a system of spelling that even Dan Brown couldn't decipher. Right now, around 1.5 billion people speak English. Of these, about a quarter are native speakers, a quarter speak it as their second language, and half are able to ask for directions to a swimming pool. There's Hinglish, which is Hindi English, Chinglish, which is Chinese English, and Singlish, which is Singaporean English, and not that bit where they speak in musicals. So in conclusion, the language has got so little to do with England these days, it may well be time to stop calling it English. But if someone does think up a new name for it, it should probably be in Chinese.
So that's how English came to the shores of our islands. But how did English become the medium of instruction for the most subject areas like math, science, and history?
How about you guys? Do you know how? Well, let's find out if our fellow Tomasha students know this.
We asked students if they know the reason behind why they are using English as medium of instruction. Most of them said,
I think we have English as a medium of instruction because it is one way to increase the competency of the students. If ever they go to other countries like the US.
English language is used as a medium of instruction in school because it's the universal language and everyone can
Kasi kailangan din yung English language as a medium of instruction sa school kasi tinitrain tayo habang nandito tayo sa school to be more efficient in speaking. Tapos para mas maging competitive tayo sa field ng work natin. Tsaka syempre yun yung international language natin. Tsaka nakasaad din naman yun sa batas na kailangan gamitin yung English language sa majority ng mode of instruction sa school.
Initiated by the Department of Education to have a bilingual language in our system of.
A lot of students does not really know the reason why we are so much into the English language. What is the real reason?
The reason why we use English as a medium of instruction is the bilingual education policy. What is this BEP or bilingual education policy?
A very brief background of the bilingual policy in our educational system. Let me first tell you what bilingual education is. Bilingual education is a form of education in which information is presented to the student in two or more languages. Technically, any educational system that utilizes more than one language is bilingual. Now, the basis bilingual education policy was initiated in Decade Order 25, Series 1974, on June 1974, by the Secretary of Education then. In order to develop a bilingual education policy, and students to be able to be competent in the use of English and Filipino. Bilingualism in schools is defined operationally as the separate use of English and Filipino. It should be separate use. No? Right. These forms of instruction is carried out in certain subject areas from grade 1 to 4th year. Such subject areas include social studies, social sciences, cultural education, health, and PE.
Go back to business and weigh things down. Let's analyze languages, pros and cons, and its implications to students. Kami kayo first or second? Good.
First answer.
Basta? Oh, sige, basta.
Advise me as you think best.
The given sentence is, he refuses to accept his limitation. The correct answer is, he refuses to accept his limitation.
Lay lied the injured dog on this blanket. The correct answer is lay. Lay the injured dog on this blanket. Advise me as you think best. First or second?
Correct answer is the first one. Advise me as you think best.
One good thing of using English in our system of education is that we are sharpened and honed to converse to other people in a sense that we have the confidence and conviction.
This also has an effect on our employability rate. Because of the communicative competence that an individual has, he or she has more chances of being hired than others who do not possess such.
If we are to look in the newspaper, we will notice that most of the applicants possess the skill of speaking English.